Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 911 or September 11th, 2025 meeting of the Memphis and Shelby County Land Use Control Board. My name is Mary W. Sharp. I will be serving as your chairperson today. We will begin this morning's meeting with a roll call. Mr. Ragsdale, would you proceed, please?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Gill?
Here.
Mr. McKinnon?
Here.
Mr. Norman?
Here.
Ms. O'Connell? Mr. Orgel?
Here.
Mr. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Wilbanks?
Here.
Mr. Winter?
Here.
Chair Sharp?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. I would like to remind you that copies of today's agenda are located at the front right podium if you need them. If you wish to be a speaker on any case that is on today's agenda, please fill out an attendant speaker's card located at the front podiums. Once you have filled out the card, please bring it up front and hand it to one of our DPT staff members located at the left podium. When that agenda item is called, you will be given an opportunity to speak. At this point, I would like to read our conflict of interest statement. The adopted policy of the Land Use Control Board requires that any member of the board recuse himself or herself from any participation in the discussion or voting on any matter on the meeting's agenda in which he or she may have direct or indirect personal interest. The member shall vacate his or her seat during deliberation on any matter from which they have recused themselves. An abstention may substitute for recusal for the purposes of maintaining a quorum. I would like to now get approval of our minutes from the last meeting. May I have a motion?
Move to approve the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Thank you. Motion carries. Mr. Ragsdale, may I please get a secretary's report for this month and an explanation of today's procedures?
Yes, Madam Chair. I do not have a secretary's report, so I'll go into the procedure. At the beginning of today's meeting, we will establish a consent agenda for those items where no one in the audience or on the board is requesting an individual public hearing. After the consent agenda is established and approved, we will move on to the regular agenda. For each case on the regular agenda, the DPD planner will give a presentation. This will be followed by the applicant's presentation and any testimony from others who support the application. The applicant and supporters will be given a total of 10 minutes. Following each speaker, the chair will ask if the board has any questions of that speaker. Next, the opposition will be given a total of 10 minutes to present their case. Following each speaker, the chair will ask the board members if they have any questions for that speaker. Finally, the applicant will then have a 3-minute rebuttal period under the same rules. Following all the presentations and after all parties have been heard, the chair will ask if the board members have any additional questions for anyone who spoke. Then the chair will close the public hearing portion of the case, entertain a motion on the matter, discuss, and then vote on the application. If an applicant or any speaker would like to be heard after the conclusion of the public hearing portion of the case, or if a board member wishes to hear any additional testimony from any party for additional clarification, a motion will need to be made along with a second and then a 2/3 affirmative vote of the board is required to reopen the public hearing portion of the agenda item. If the public hearing is reopened, both the applicant and the opposition will be allowed an equal amount of additional time to provide additional testimony. After the additional comments, the board will close the public hearing portion of the case and deliberate and then take a final vote. Again, if any member of the audience wishes to provide testimony in support of or in opposition to a case, he or she will need to fill out a speaker's card. These are available at the front podium. Speaker's cards are not required of the applicant since their names are already part of the record. And Madam Chair, let the record indicate that Vice Chair Lyles Wallace has joined us as well.
Thank you, Mr. Ragsdale. As you know, the board is a supporter of community involvement, and we welcome neighborhood comments and feedback. We are respectful of the fact that many of you have taken off work or adjusted your schedules to be here today. But we ask that your comments please be made within the time frame allowed. If there are multiple speakers, please try not to be repetitive so as to make the most of your side's 10-minute time allotment. Lastly, I'd like to ask all of you to silence your cell phones so as not to interrupt or disturb anyone during today's proceedings. With our procedures now explained, I would like to introduce to my right Ms. Lisa Wilbanks, who will be this morning's consent agenda chairperson. Ms. Wilbanks will read items 1 through 14 as the consent agenda. Once the consent agenda is read, if you wish to discuss one of these items individually, please come forward and give us the item number and we will pull that case. We will then vote on the remaining consent agenda items as one vote, and following the vote, we will hear the cases that were pulled individually. Ms. Wilbanks, will you proceed, please?
Yes, ma'am. Item number 3, case MJR 2025-021 in East Memphis. The request is a major modification to allow an indoor multi-story self-storage facility located at 1714 West Massey Road. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 4, case SAC 2025-004 in South Memphis. The request is a street closure of Louisiana Street located at the intersection of West Macklemore Avenue and Louisiana Street, extending approximately 670 feet to the south. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 5, case MJR 2025-023 in East Memphis. The request is a major modification to allow a social service institution located at 3575 Hacks Cross Road. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 6, case MJR 2025-024 in Cordova. The request is a major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pumps located at the southwest corner of US Highway 64 and Cobb Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 7, case PD 2025-008 in Raleigh. The request is commercial plan development to allow equipment and vehicle storage as part of a contractor's storage located at 4387 Old Raleigh-LaGrange Road. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 8, case S 2025-038 in Raleigh. The request is a 4-lot major residential subdivision located at 3287 and 3293 Margaretta Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 9, case S 2025-042 in the Jackson area. The request is a 3-lot major residential subdivision located at 1850 Davis Circle. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 10, case S 2025-043 in unincorporated Shelby County. The request is a 32-lot major residential subdivision with requested waiver for street improvements located at the southeast corner of George R. James Road and Coburn Road. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions and waivers. Item number 11, case SUP 2025-022 in Fraser. The request is a special use permit to allow a group daycare home in the residential single-family 6 district located at 1936 The Elms Avenue. Staff recommendation is approval with conditions. Item number 12, case SUP 2025-024 in Westwood. The request is a special use permit to allow a child care center in the residential single-family 10 district located at 577 East Rains Road. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. Item number 13, case SUP 2025-025 in Westwood. The request is a special use permit to allow a child care center in the residential single-family 6 district located at 261 Blairmore Avenue. Staff recommendation is hold for 1 month. And that is our consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. We have pulled items number 1 and 2. The items on the consent agenda will now be voted on with 1 vote, subject to the recommendations of DPD. If the consent agenda is approved, only items number 1 and 2 will have full independent. Okay, and 14, I'm sorry. Items number 1, 2, and 14 have been.
10.
But you called 10.
I know it.
Okay. Okay, let us start all over again. We have pulled items 1, items 2, item 10, and item 14. The items on the consent agenda will now be voted on with 1 vote, subject to the recommendation of DPD. If the consent agenda is approved, again, only items 1, 2, 10, and 14 will have full independent public hearings. By voting on the consent agenda, each board member is affirming that he or she has read the staff report and agrees with its findings and, where applicable, its recommended conditions. Can I get a motion, please?
Yes, move to approve item number 3, case MJR 2025-021. Item number 4, case SAC 2025-004. Item number 5, case MJR 2025-023. Item number 6, case MJR 2025-024. Item number 7, case PD 2025-008. Item number 8, case S 2025-038. Item number 9, case S 2025-042. Item number 11, case SUP 2025-022. Item number 12, case SUP 2025-024, and item number 13, case SUP 2025-025.
Thank you, Ms. Wilbanks. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. There's been a motion. I heard a second. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor of the consent agenda, say aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Now we're ready to go to the regular agenda with Mr. Gill.
Item number 1, MJR 2025-015, unincorporated Shelby County. Correspondence to PD 02365. Major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pumps in Area 1 located at 0 East Shelby Drive, the northeast corner of Forest Hill Irene and East Shelby Drive.
Okay, we'll hear the case. The applicant is here, right?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Cindy Reeves,
Give us
SL
your name.
Consulting, 5909 Shelby Oaks Drive, Suite 200.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. I'm also here to speak on behalf of one of the residents regarding,
So are you in opposition?
yes, sir.
Okay, have you filled out a speaker's card?
I have not, no, sir.
Just sit down. We're gonna have a staff presentation. Just sit down. We'll get to it.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
grab a speaker's card right there and fill that out.
All right. It's already been filled for me, sir.
No problem.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. We're ready to hear.
Good morning. I'm Nabanita Nira with DPD. I'm presenting the case number MJR 2025-015, located at northeast corner of Forest Hill Irene Road and East Shelby Drive intersection. The applicant is requesting major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pump in Area 1. These are the location map and vicinity map. The subject property is governed by the PD 02-365 and MJR 2023-043. Area A, Area 1 that allow uses permitted in the CP district, currently CMU 2. These are the images of the subject property. The original PD was approved in 1987. In 2021, a concept plan was approved for residential development of Area 1 with a mix of single family and townhouses. In 2023, a major modification was approved for the site to be developed in 2 phases. And this is the current conceptual plan that is approved. This is the proposed plan. The applicant wants to have a gas station at the northeast intersection of Forest Hill Irene and East Shelby Drive. This is the site plan. The applicant is proposing to have a 4,994 square foot convenience store with 26 parking spaces and 5 gas pumps. The plan shows 2 curb cuts to the proposed site, one each from Forest Hill Irene Road and East Shelby Drive, and a 15-foot landscaping buffer with the residential development to the north and east with evergreen trees. There are 2 convenience stores with gas pumps within 0.5 mile radius of the subject property. The 2 gas stations are shown with red mark. Additionally, the proposed convenience store with gas pump is abutting single-family residential on the north and east side. According to the UDC, the Land Use Control Board shall consider the proximity of the convenience store with gas pumps to other convenience store with gas pump and gas station and single-family residential zoning district. In conclusion, the staff is recommending rejection of this application for its proximity to other gas station and residential uses. Also, the proposal is inconsistent with the Mid-South Regional Resiliency Master Plan, as the site is in an aquifer research zone. The staff recommends rejection. However, if approved, the staff recommends the site condition on your screen. This ends my presentation. Happy to answer any question.
Thank you. Do you have any questions of staff at this time? Okay, hearing none, we're ready for the applicant to present your case.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Can you get my presentation up? Okay. Cindy Reeves, thank you. I wanted to thank staff for working with us. My client had been out of the country, and so he's now back in town. And what his vision is to do a gas station or a C-store that's identical to this one that's done in Olive Branch on Craft Road across from the Lewisburg School in Mississippi. So it's not just your typical C-store. It's more of a neighborhood center. Next slide. This is the site plan. The Forest Creek PD townhouses that have been approved, the developer and the owner of the properties is in support of the application and does not feel that this is going to impact his residential area. The next slide. This is photos of the store in Olive Branch, just to give you an idea of how different that this store is than the store across the street or a half mile down the street. So that we just feel that this is a totally different concept and a new vision for how convenience stores are being used by the public. Next slide. This is the townhouse areas. If you'll notice, if you go down Shelby Drive and you're needing to get gas, you're gonna try and find a station that's on the side of the road that you're traveling. So if I'm gonna be going west on Shelby Drive, I'm gonna look for a C-store that is on the right side. I'm not gonna want to cross over if I don't have to. So we don't feel that having the opposing C-stores is a disadvantage to this neighborhood. We feel that it is a convenience. We also feel that having the different concept gives more for the neighborhood to be able to benefit from, and the Rose Soccer Field. Next slide. This is our landscaping plan. We'll be willing to work with staff on the site plan and the elevations if the board does recommend approval of this, and if the staff wants the C-store flipped or whatever the staff wants for the site plan and the elevations, we'll be willing to work with them. The next slide. This is the landscape screen that's going to be between the residential and the C-store. That's east elevation looking west. So that's what the neighbors will be looking at. If you'll go back to slide 2, which is the site plan, we just feel that typically whenever I travel, I'm gonna look for a C-store that's on the side of the road that I'm traveling on. I don't like crossing the street. That's one of my fears. So I just wanted you to please consider this application, and I have my client Salomon that would be glad to answer any questions, and I'll have him give you a brief description of how they operate.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to quickly address.
Can you give me your name and address, please?
My name is Solomon Norden. Address is 3439 Tournament Drive South, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Just want to quickly address the stigma of gas stations about, crime being attracted to the gas stations, specifically in the city of Memphis. I think that I'm going to give you guys 2 examples really quickly. One is the location you see here, which is on Craft Road and 269 in Lewisburg, across from the schools. You know, we have no crime there. The way our newer stores are built, they're well lit, they're bigger stores. We want women, children, families to feel comfortable coming any time of the day, the evening, to be able to come into our store and, you know, bring their kids inside and not have to worry about, you know, the typical things you hear about at convenience stores in this city and other cities. The second location I'll give you an example of is right here downtown, the old MAPCO across the street from the FedEx Forum on Danny Thomas. We bought that MAPCO. There was a lot of crime at that location. It was a very small store. Excuse me. The way it was laid out, it was a tough location. So we raised and rebuilt the building. Now it's a much bigger building. I mean, extremely well lit. You can see it from half a mile away. And we have an armed security guard there, understanding where we are in the city. And the residents in that area love the store. They like coming there now because they have a place to go where they feel safe, they feel comfortable. You leave the Grizzlies game, the Tigers games, and you're the concerts, you're able to feel comfortable to still stop over there at nighttime, which is a typical stigma of a gas station. Another thing that I want to address is that, you know, yes, there are a couple of stores nearby. However, we sell products in our stores that you don't find in other locations. You know, we have, in this particular location, there's a big candy wall. Sweet Noshings is one of our partners. They put a huge candy wall in the store. That way, it attracts kids. We want to attract those kind of customers. We want to attract families. We want people to feel safe. We don't want them to worry about their filling up gas. Somebody's going to jump into their car from the other side. You know, when you have traffic, when you have people, when you have customers, those kind of things tend to happen a lot less. That's, you know, just wanted to address that really quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, no, sir, on the opposite side, you have to fill out a card in order to be able to speak. Okay, I have 4 cards in opposition. You can come up and give us your name and address and give us your opposing statements. Do you have a card filled out? Okay, all right. Your name and address.
Attorney Jeffrey Moore, 2034 Linden Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, 38104.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here as a representative for a resident in the area, Sardar Khan. I won't go over the points that you've already heard in opposition that are the fact that there's already 2 gas stations that are 0.5 miles away from the proposed structure and the threat to the aquifer that is proximal to the location. What I will focus on and emphasize is the overwhelming opposition from the community to the building of a gas station in this area, primarily because of the threat of congestion and the threat of increased traffic and the potential crime that could accompany it should the structure be built. I will note for the board that the structure is across the street from, or 0.2 miles away from a soccer center. And there has been more than 50 residents in the area who have signed a petition that has been submitted to the board against the building of the structure for concerns of the threat of safety to children who play in that area, particularly in the soccer area. But even in addition to that overwhelming opposition, is this idea that this isn't really needed. This is, again, as I've noted previously, there are 2 different gas stations that are 0.5 miles away from the area where the proposed gas station is proposed to be built, and the community is not asking for this and is overwhelmingly against it for the reasons stated, and that's the extent of my position. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next person in opposition, give us your name and address and your statement.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faisal Naji. Address is 10594 Harvest Oaks Drive, Collierville, Tennessee, 38017. Now, we are here to represent the community over there who are against the development. As you have heard before, that, you know, the points that were told in the favor said that they gave the example of a store in the Mississippi area and then comparing it to the store that they are proposing over here in Memphis, Tennessee. So now the crime rate over there is completely different, and the crime rate over here is completely different. And I'm sure that everybody over here in the panel is well aware of all those situations. Having said that, just to give an idea about how difficult it is to operate a gas station here in Memphis, Tennessee, is that during the period of last 2 years, that is 2025 up till now and 2024, there were only 5 businesses that were shut down by the DA's office, considering them as a public nuisance, out of which 4 of them were gas stations. So the extent of the problem that is associated with the gas station is pretty evident with this fact. Other than that, there are numerous news that we come across every day in Fox 13 and all those news channels, and most of the time it is something to do with the gas station. So please, I'll request everyone to put that in consideration and do not approve this gas station, as we have already submitted the signed petition for all the members who were not able to come over here and represent and speak for themselves. And lastly, I would say that, sorry, my neck. There is about, like it was mentioned before, that there are 2 gas stations within half-mile vicinity of the proposed location, one which is right across of it. So it's not, the other one is half a mile away from it. It's just right across the street. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a question of that individual. Is it
Of
time?
that particular person?
Of that particular person.
Okay, sir, we have a question for you. You can come back to the podium.
You made reference to nuisance.
Yes.
Was that in reference to something you know about this particular person?
No, it's about the overall statistics of Memphis, Tennessee right now.
Okay, all right, that's in general. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next in opposition, your name and address.
Hi, my name is Sardar Khan. I'm the resident of Collierville, 1154 Olderstone Circle West, Collierville, Tennessee. Zip code is 38017. I endorse what the other opposition say, and moreover, I would like to bring the attention of Planning Commission towards that there is a soccer field right adjacent to this property, micro soccer field. 816 kids play, including my son, and we have submitted email to Nabanita Nira, 143 parents, the manager who manages the soccer field, that they all have concern for the safety of the child. We use that facility like 2-3 times a week, and as we go out, gas station, which existing gas station is there, it is never busy. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, when the game ends, we find parking, we find pump, and it's very convenience. Talking about, crossing the road, we would love to cross the road 100 times when it comes to the safety of the neighborhood and safety of our child. The most convenient way will be that put gas pump in our houses. That will be the most convenient way to pump the gas. Another thing, that within 0.5 miles, 2 gas station, not very busy. As a business person, I would open another location when I'm crowded, when I cannot fulfill the need of the resident. The need of the resident is fulfilled 0.5 mile, these 2, and then every stop, Houston Levy, Bahalia, Hex Cross, Winchester. We have plenty gas station to fulfill the need of the residents. Another thing, both stores are owned by same developer. If we are talking about that those are small stores and they attract the crime, and this time we will make a big store which will be a neighborhood store and attract less crime. Simple thing is demolish your own store, make it bigger, and keep the count low. So in order to have 1-2 bad stores which you bought or built like a decade ago, and you're building a new one now, it's better demolish the existing one, make the one bigger. It will not take the number up. Last week, we got to know in the news, one marathon, the father got robbed. Problem is the gas station is a soft target for loitering. For 24 hours cash access, bank closes, bank have security guard. Gas station never closes. 12 a.m., 1 a.m., very, very soft target for the criminals. So we should avoid more gas station in overall Memphis. And since it's an unincorporated area, and right, on the border of Collierville, so as a resident, with all the fellow parents, with all the petitions we have submitted, we want to present our concern. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more speaker. Name and address.
Good morning. My name is Andrea Bell. My address is 5445 Bridgeville Lane, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. So I've heard them talk about the gas station. I am an avid community. I live there. I've been living there for 15 years. Just to make a point, as a mother, I don't think I would want to take my kids into a gas station and say, hey, this is happy hour. That is not what I want to do. We already have 2 gas stations in that area. We need more homes, not gas stations. We know the issue and the situation that we have going on 3rd Street. We don't want our area and our community to become that. What we want and what we need here for Memphis is homes. That area should be for people who need to buy homes. I just want to say one thing. As they mentioned, we have a soccer field over there with kids. I want to take my child there, and I want them to enjoy themselves. We already have 2 gas stations in that area. What is the point? What is the economic benefit for us as residents? There isn't none. We already have 2 gas stations. How many gas stations do you need in the area to say, hey, I need to get gas? Really not that many. I just want to also say that I'm here today because I want to make sure that you understand that I've worked my entire life to have a home in a decent area. I have worked hard. I do not want my community, as they said, gas stations does bring about nuisance. I don't want my community, for my kids, for the area, to have any kind of crime or any kind of situations for my children. One last thing. I'm here too because I know in the past that we've had things that happen in our area. And I just want to say that I want to give you this number, MJR 2024-042. This is something that happened in our area. The neighborhood was not aware of it. They are building a rugby field in the middle of 100 to 200 residents. We were not made aware of this because we understand there's loopholes in the code. I just want you to know that any place or any land in that area should be for homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for any of the opposition at this time before we hear the rebuttal? Okay, hearing none, we're ready for the rebuttal.
Name is Solomon Norden. Address 3439 Tournament Drive South, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125. Thank you again. I want to address just a couple of things. It was just reported that Memphis has just reported a historically low crime rate. So if we're going to keep developments out of the city because of crime, maybe we should be having a different conversation. The opposition, that was here, one of them operates the gas station next door on Shelby Drive and Forest Hill. The other one is also in the gas station business and restaurants. So the opposition is coming from gas station operators, and they're talking about the crime, the public nuisance, the issues of having gas stations, of, put the pumps in our homes. Well, you're in the same business. If we've got 50 residents sitting here and having a real conversation, let's have that conversation. This is opposition. It's not opposition, this is competition. That's what this is. So, both Collierville residents have stores right there, have connections to the stores. The 2 stores that keep coming up, 2 stores. Well, there's a third one too on Forest Hill and Winchester, the Circle K. Nobody's talking about that store because the connection with the opposition is with these locations. When you look at some of the reviews of the 2 existing stores, is that the gas prices are some of the highest prices in the area. So another opportunity that we saw, and this is a business opportunity, but I'll share it with you all, is that there is some opportunity here for us to be able to provide products, be able to provide gas at a reasonable price, to be able to sell, when you talk about, I have kids. I have 2 little kids, a 7-year-old and about to be a 4-year-old. I live down the street at Southwind. I don't go to these stores, the existing locations, at night, including the Circle K. I don't feel safe. I'm in the gas station business and I don't feel safe at those gas stations. I want to build a store that I want my kids and my family to be comfortable going to at nighttime with or without me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that all we have from the applicants? Okay, board members, do you have any questions for the applicant? Go ahead.
Just a point of clarification from the applicant. There was a discussion about the quality of the architecture of the C-stores, but the submitted elevations and the submitted plans don't reflect that. Could you speak to that? Page 14 of the staff report reflects a flat elevation with no roof. So does the plans.
That was the original design, and as I said, my client had been out of the country and was not able to give a real design that what his vision was. And his vision is more towards what he's doing in Olive Branch, or what he's done in Olive Branch, that's been very, very welcome in that area. So that's the reason why I'd said that we will be glad to work with staff on the elevations and meet the CMU2 gas station regulations.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yes, you stated, and I want to make sure I didn't hear you wrong, that it sounds like you watered down the opposition and saying that it was mainly competition. But what I'm looking here is a lot of signatures. And it looks like that entire neighborhood is opposed to this.
Right, and I was speaking to the opposition that was here speaking, and from what I understand, the signatures are organized by the opposition that is here today. That's what I understand. But again, there's 50 residents that have an issue with the store. Maybe they don't understand what we're trying to build. I would love to, this to be assuming this is a public deal, they can read and they can see what we are trying to do. It's not a typical store. It's not going to be the store that you see existing in those areas. It will be a different model. It's a different product. And that's why we believe that this is a good site for that location. With all the families that travel to Memphis to go to Mike Rose, the existing residents of the areas around this city and outside the city that go to Mike Rose, that this will be a different product for them and the existing residents in the areas.
Well, what I see, I know that area, I tend to agree with the neighborhood. I think there are gas stations already there that can accommodate that community. And anyone is hard pressed to convince me that a gas station improves property values of residential homes or makes communities better. So I lean with the neighborhood on this one.
Are you okay if I respond to that?
Okay, any further questions?
Yeah, did you guys have a neighborhood meeting?
I'm sorry?
Did you have a community meeting about the plans that you had to present the plans?
We did not.
Okay, just curious.
We were not required to, that's what.
Okay.
But we'd be glad to do it. I have no problem doing that. That'd be great.
Okay, any further questions?
Two further questions. So, number one, have you had any conversation with the county commissioner in that space?
Councilmember Sugarman, or Commissioner Sugarman, is the district council commissioner, and we have not had conversations with her yet. We did have a phone call into her to discuss this, so we know that it will probably come before the county commission regardless of which way it goes.
Okay, and is there an assisted living facility in that space, near that space?
Yes, there is.
Okay, and has there been any conversation in that community?
No, sir, but we'll be glad to hold this for a month, and schedule a neighborhood meeting in order to reach out to the surrounding area. If that's the will of the board, we'll be glad to do that.
Okay, any further questions? Hearing none, I will close the public portion of the meeting. We're ready for the motion.
Motion to approve MJR 2025-015. Major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pumps in Area 1 located at 0 East Shelby Drive. The northeast corner is Forest Hill Irene and East Shelby Drive.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Any discussion? I assume we're ready to vote. Do you want to do an individual vote?
Yes, ma'am, we can do that.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Norman?
No.
Mr. McKinnon?
Abstain.
Mr. Gill?
No.
Ms. O'Connell?
No.
Ms. Wilbanks?
No.
Mr. Thomas?
No.
Mr. Orgel?
No.
Mr. Winter?
No.
Vice Chair Lyles Wallace?
No.
Chair Sharp?
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you.
Item number 2, MJR 2025-019, unincorporated Shelby County. Correspondence to PD 95-310, major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pumps that does not meet the design requirements of sub-item 2.63J, and site plan approval at 4670 Hacks Cross Road.
Thank you. Would the applicant please come up and introduce yourself? Give us your name and address. The applicant, please.
Please show me recused.
Beg your pardon?
No, the public portion is
That's over.
So we can talk to you separately, though.
Okay, the applicant, come and give us your name and address, and then we'll hear the case, and then we'll hear your side.
The mic is not, there it is. Good morning, my name is Aaron K. Robinson. I'm one of the company partners. The address is 3264 Saracen Circle, Memphis, Tennessee, 38125.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're gonna hear it, and is there any opposition? Okay, go ahead.
Good morning. I'm Nabanita with DPD, presenting the case number MJR 2025-019, located at 4670 Hacks Cross Road, the northeast corner of East Shelby Drive and Hacks Cross Road. The applicant is requesting major modification to allow a convenience store with gas pump that does not meet the design requirement of sub-item 263J2D2 and site plan approval. These are the location map and vicinity map. The subject property is governed by the PD 1995-310 Parcel P that allow uses permitted in the CP district, currently known as CMU2 district. These are the images of the subject property. The original PD was approved in 1995, and in 2015, the Land Use Control Board approved retail center includes a convenience store with gasoline cell. However, it is expired. And after the zoning text amendment of 2021, convenience store with gas pump use is not allowed by right in CMU2 district. These are the proposed site plan, and this is the proposed elevation. The site is within a quarter mile from 3 convenience stores, including 2 with gas pump, as well as an elementary school, middle school, high school, and a residential apartment. When considering new convenience store with gas pump in CME2 district, the board must consider the proximity of the other convenience store with gas pumps and proximity to the single family residential zoning district. In conclusion, convenience store with gas pump is not permitted use by right in CMU2 district. And when considering new convenience store with gas pump in CMU2 district, the proximity of other convenience store needs to be considered. The staff recommend rejection. However, if approved, these are the site condition on your screen. This ends my presentation. Happy to answer any question.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of staff at this time? Okay, we're ready for you to make your presentation.
So if, Ms. Neary, can you go back to the slide that showed, there it is right there. So let me give you guys some historical context. Behind Power Center Academy Southeast, there are some apartments called Southwind Lakes. We actually own that land. And so in a partnership, but before I came with the company, we actually partnered with them to build those apartments, which would now be classified as affordable housing. When I drove over there, those apartments are actually income-based. And so we partnered with them to provide the land, build the apartments, and then once everything was complete, we released ourselves and we moved on to the next project in our portfolio. So that's how we ended up with this corner right here at Shelby Drive and Hacks Cross. The gas station, once I went through the staff report, to make a long story short, it looks like Josh Whitehead, who's no longer with the city of Memphis, gave the approval in this report. It was kind of confusing. He gave the approval, then OPD came back and said he erred in his judgment. So that's kind of would be my question to OPD. I need better understanding unless, how can I say this? He gave a judgment, city council changed the rules to where you have to have go through OPD to get the approval instead of a by right type of situation. Does that kind of make sense?
Can you repeat the question?
So my question to you would be, can you clarify how did Josh Whitehead, I guess, erred in his judgment?
I would say, Ms. Robbins, I think this is not the place to have that discussion. We can have that discussion separately if you'd like.
Okay, that's fine. So my next, I guess I'm here to answer any questions then.
Okay. Have any questions of the applicant? Any questions? Okay, hearing none, can I get you to make the motion? Here's.
Move to approve case MJ.
Microphone.
This isn't my job. Move to approve case number MJR 2025-019, Buckingham Plans Development.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members about this case? Any discussion before we vote?
Yes, Chairwoman. Question. Just going back, not to discuss the last case, but the last case had multiple gas stations in the area. And I know we don't have opposition here, but on the map, and I looked at it before the meeting, there are multiple, I think there were 2 gas stations and a convenience store right next door. So what's the difference here? Sure.
I guess somebody brought it to our attention in the other one.
The public port, if you would like to ask questions of the applicant, we would just need a 2/3 vote to open it.
I was more, we don't need to open it up. I was just a thinking out loud comment.
Okay, any further discussion amongst ourselves?
So the discussion amongst ourselves, I would caution us, not caution, but just remind us that he asked a question that cannot be answered, but would be referred back over at a later point for consideration to you. Is that correct?
Yes, that was about a previous step to this.
Previous.
Correct, and that's why, and I'm happy to speak with Ms. Robinson. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. My only point is that was actually before.
I just wanted to make sure we had all the information we needed to make a decision, because the staff recommendation is rejection.
Correct, yes. Okay. But that was something that happened prior to this application ever being filed.
Got it. So it has nothing to do with this. Correct. Thanks.
But I concur with what Benjamin said. This is down the street from the one we just discussed. Same scenario. So for me, I don't see how I could support this one and deny the other one. You know, it's the exact same scenario. Very nice areas, and you have sufficient gas stations at this point there already. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. We want to do it individually?
Yes, Madam Chair, we can do that. Mr. Orgel?
No.
Ms. O'Connell? No. Mr. Norman?
No.
Mr. McKinnon?
Abstain.
Mr. Thomas?
No.
Ms. Wilbanks?
No.
Mr. Winter?
No.
Vice Chair Lyles Wallace?
No.
And Chair Sharp?
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. We're ready to call item number 10 with our regular chairperson.
Item number 10, S 2025-043, unincorporated Shelby County, 32-lot major residential subdivision with requested waiver for street improvements located at the southeast corner of George R. James Road and Coburn Road.
Okay, thank you. Applicant, would you give us your...
David Bray with the Bray Firm, 2950 Stage Plaza North, Bartlett 3134.
Thank you. We're ready for the presentation.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Travian Smith, and I'm here on behalf of DPD and presenting case S2025-043. The applicant for this case is Barry Duke, and the location of this case is located along George R. James Road, which is in Eads, Tennessee. The request is for a 32-lot subdivision. Here's the location map, which basically demonstrates where this application is taking place, and as you can see, is further in the outskirts in the eastern part of Shelby County. And then on the right-hand side, as you can see, is the vicinity map, which demonstrates the site and the surrounding area. On the left, you can see the zoning map, which demonstrates other zoning cases that have existed currently and in the past in the surrounding areas. Whereas on the right, you can see the land use map, and it shows the context of the area. And as you can see, it is surrounded by other single-family homes. Here are some site photos, which basically demonstrates the site as what it is today. And again, additional photos that best demonstrates the site. Here you can see the preliminary plan, which basically outlines the plan that was submitted by the applicant. And as you can see, it is a 32-lot subdivision, and it essentially outlines how the plan is designed for the future. And as you can see, 2 entrances will be designated along George R. James Road. In conclusion, this proposed subdivision is for an existing vacant lot that is located along George R. James Road. It is approximately 69.2 acres. Each lot is anticipated to be made up of a single-family home, which will make up a minimum of 2 acres in size. The proposed lots will include 2 internal public roads, as mentioned before, that will be entrance from George R. James Road, 2 cul-de-sacs, and room for emergency vehicles. The applicant has requested a waiver for improvements along both Coburn and George R. James Road due to the presence of the existing mature trees. Additional overhead power lines, as you can see on the site photos, run along George R. James Road. And in order to accommodate this, we have spoken with the applicant, and they have proposed to have a setback for the trees so that they can prevent the overhead lines. In conclusion, this case is compatible, and so staff recommends approval with conditions and waivers. The conditions that are listed are that no lot shall have any direct egress along George R. James Road or Coburn Road. And then number 2, when submitting the final plat, they need to verify that the lots meet the Shelby County requirements. And then alongside the waiver that is granted to relieve for the developer and the building permit for the street improvements along Coburn and George R. James Road. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions of staff right now? Okay, hearing none, we're ready for your presentation.
As was mentioned in the staff report, and some of you guys may remember this came in before you guys in December of 2019, and probably would have moved forward at that time. I don't know if anybody remembers, there was a little event in March of 2020, and the world got weird, and then things didn't go forward, and we finally picked back up on it, and we got all the plans worked out with county engineering, and as we were doing that, we discovered that the application approval had lagged, and we needed to renew. I know we have opposition here to speak, and I'm going to cut off my remarks in a second to let her get up here. I will tell you that her concern is drainage, and it's a legitimate concern. And unlike most of the time when we come in here with a preliminary plan, we've got vague answers about we're going to provide detention. Well, in this case, the construction plans are ready to go. We have worked extensively with the county to get this ready. And so explain to you guys a little bit about what's going on. The lots along the east side of this, you see all that crosshatched area and then a little crosshatched area on the rear of the lots that front on Coburn Road or back up to Coburn Road. All of that crosshatch area is going to end up being detention basin. There's a stream that runs through the middle of that area. We were actually surprised when TDEC went out to evaluate it and came back and called it a wet weather conveyance instead of a stream, but we're still treating it like a stream. And so what we've done, and you see those little crosshatched areas sort of balloon out and come back, is that all of those lots on the east side of the development, the houses will be located on the east side of that stream. But the developer, which is not the normal practice, will go ahead and install the driveway up to the point of crossing that stream with the culvert installed. And what we have is a series of cascading detention basins as you go down there. It's a legitimate problem under Coburn Road. County engineering acknowledges that problem. Typically, the response would be, we'll put in a bigger pipe. But if we put in a bigger pipe, we're actually just making the problem worse on the downstream property owners. So they did not want us to come in there and put in a bigger pipe. So between what comes from the west and then comes on the east down that stream, we have a total, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds with everybody here, but it's about 120 acres of drainage that comes through there. Preliminary or pre-development flow today, if it rains this afternoon, what you would expect through there, if it's a 100-year storm, would be about 140 cubic feet per second. After we come in here and add rooftops and patios and roadways and driveways and all of that, that would increase to 162. With this series of cascading detention basins going through there, the flow will be reduced to 25 cubic feet per second, which should allow everything to stay within the existing undersized culvert under Coburn Road, no longer top the road, and provide some relief downstream. So I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. I'll let Ms. Race speak, and then I'll come back up here.
Okay, we're ready for the opposition. And if you can give us your name and address, Ms. Race.
My name is Lee Race, and I live at 12540 Coburn. And that's kind of in the middle of where this property is, where Coburn Road comes down and is at my house. I took two pictures here showing that Coburn facing east at the top of the hill and then facing west, which shows that the Coburn Road does dip down considerably. Initially, there were no problems with this property until all the trees were cut down, and that's understandable. They were mulched up, and then suddenly we had all kinds of water rushing across the road. The water overran the culverts, two culverts under Coburn Road, and Shelby County came out to replace one of the culverts and came out with putting gravel along the ditches. The gravel washed out. Shelby County came out 2 more times with riprap, larger and larger stones. Those stones also washed out and into the stream area. So I lost 3 fence posts in my backyard as a result of the smaller stream going right next to my property under Coburn Road. And there's one of my fence posts. We tried to support it as best we could. I've moved my fence in 4 feet as a result of that, but it's still washing away. When the first subdivision plan was presented in 2019, I brought a video of how the water rushed across. And the slope of the subdivision comes down 50 feet in elevation to Coburn Road, and of course then dips down in the center. I was worried about the additional streets, the concrete, the roofs, without addressing the very deep streams or creeks. Also, the idea of 13 septic tanks on poor soil obviously worried me. I was glad to see that the letter that came out among 7 items that the new plans would have to factor in adequate soils for septic tanks, adequate on-site stormwater detention feature to slow the flow of stormwater across Coburn Road with drainage to a properly sized culvert. It also suggests put in there adequate roadside ditches with riprap on both roads, and a 0.6% of the total development shall be provided in a formal open common space, 1/2 acre in size, but not to be included as part of the water detention feature. I was glad to see all these things, but in the new plan, I failed to see that these have been answered. There's a picture from my front porch, and this was taken last August in the most recent rain that we had. It's been pretty dry lately. But that picture shows my front yard. That's Coburn Road that's flooded as well. So the water retention has not stopped. And I would like to refer to your staff report from December 12, 2019. On page 8, the department comments from the Office of Resilience says the piping of the wet stream appears to be counter to the conservation zone that is in place and is contrary to recommendations that include conserving sensitive riparian areas. Lots 7 through 18 should not be developed or should be redesigned to better accommodate the wet stream. Again, this is my front yard, a little bit wet. I think there's one from my backyard as well along the fence line. But the ravine is very deep on the east side. It is, and there's a picture right there. My neighbor standing up there, that is more than 6 feet deep, more than 6 feet wide, and runs through the entire east side of the property. My property is not adjacent to this. My property is to the west of it, but there is no water retention feature on that other side of the property when you look at the plot map. The water continues to flood my front and backyards. I attended the meeting in Eads and appreciate that Mr. Bray brought along plans so that we could see what was going on and he could respond to questions. However, I don't see any effect of water retention. The houses on lots 4 through 19 on the new plans are required to have a higher minimum finished floor elevation above sea level due to the water. The plans on lots 7 through 19 indicate that the new property owners will be assuming responsibility for the water for the problems with water retention. There's my new fence that I put up. I see no retention pond and no half-acre formal common open space. There are still 32 homes, 32 septic tanks. So yes, I am still concerned. I'm not against the development, but I really need to see that the water retention has been resolved. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Do we have any questions of her at this time? Okay, hearing none, we're ready for the rebuttal. Okay. No questions of you right now. We're ready for the rebuttal. Thank you.
I made some notes. Hopefully I'll get the comments that she made. The common open space, we do have common open space that's in the form of a landscape screen along both George R. James and Coburn Road. That also helps to alleviate any concerns that there would be driveway access. We don't intend any driveway access. This will be fence. There's a fence included in the plat detail. Don't know if that made the staff report or not, but a horse-type fence that will go and landscaping along both road frontages. She referred to the 2019 staff report and concerns that we were going to pipe that ditch. We're not going to pipe that ditch except for the drive crossings. Obviously, we have to have a culvert crossing to get the drive across, but we're leaving the ditch in the natural condition and providing the detention there. Yes, she had that picture of the pipe under the road, and the other pipe is slightly to the west of that, but there is also detention along the rear of, it looks like 4, 5, and 6, as I'm reading from here, but my eyes aren't that good. So there's detention in front of both of those pipes, and both of those pipes are impacted and part of the detention analysis. I can be happy to make the grading plan available to all of you. That's not typically part of a preliminary plan, but it's very detailed. We've got all of the detention basins outlined. We've worked very extensively with George Holliday and Ahmad Niamati at County Engineering to get this worked out and work with those existing culverts so that we're addressing that. I think the only other item brought up was the soils testing. The soils have been tested. We've got approved areas for septic on each of these. I do have the applicant here if you got any questions about the nature of the houses, cost of the lots, what's going to be built there. I'd be happy to discuss those as well.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Bray at this time?
If I remember right, I may be misremembering this, but was this going to be done in phases? The building of the whole development.
Are you talking about in 2019? I think maybe at that time we were discussing phases. Yeah. 6 years ago. But at this time, it's all going to be done as one phase.
Okay, so it's the whole development is going in.
Correct.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, we're going to close the public portion of this meeting. Mr. Gill.
Motion to approve item number 10, S 2025-043, unincorporated Shelby County, 32-lot major residential subdivision with requested waiver for street improvements.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members?
I'll say one thing. This is an enormous amount of water heading north to Grays Creek. And just to I think somewhat alleviate this neighbor's concern, I do think slowing this water down as it heads north across this parcel will help once it crosses Coburn to not have the washout effect, hopefully, that it'll have on that vacant parcel to the north that's next to your home. David is right. Each one of those is going to act like its own detention as it heads north. And I think right now, one of the problems is we're having larger and larger rain events. And more water is falling in a shorter period of time. And I just think you're having an enormous flow head north, and it's washing out and washing across your property. I think that this improvement will hopefully improve your water situation to the north of this parcel in a long-term way. So.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Gill, number 14.
Item number 14, ZTA 2025-001, zoning text amendment to the Unified Development Code related to correctional facilities.
Thank you.
Okay, Madam Chair, Brett Ragsdale with the Division of Planning and Development. I'm presenting ZTA 2025-01. The applicant is the Memphis City Council. This was brought to us by them. The request is adopt amendments to the Unified Development Code related to correctional facilities. So currently in the UDC, we have a couple of different ways that correctional facilities are handled, and so this would clear that up. Currently, the definition of a correctional facility at the end includes adult detention centers, juvenile detention centers, jails, and prisons. And then in subsection 293H, social service institution includes correctional facility but private. So in the use chart then, 252, under social service institution, we have what is all social service institutions. So that correctional facility would be under that category. And then in light industrial, we have detention center, jail, prison. And so they are allowed, not allowed, or allowed by special use permit in different places in the use chart. So that creates a conflict of, we have what we call the private, which would be the social service institution, and that ostensibly makes the public the light industrial detention center, jail, prison, and they're allowed differently in different zoning districts per those use categories. So Councilwoman Dr. Mike Lannister Thomas introduced an ordinance in July that would clear this up, and that the intention was that they are treated the same, no matter whether they're private or public in whatever zoning district they are in. And so what this does is it adds a principal use of detention center, jail, prison, and it would be just the city of Memphis. This is not a joint ordinance. It would just be the Memphis City Council. And that would allow it in the same places that the current correctional facility or the social service institution is allowed in the different zoning districts. And so this would fulfill that intent to create an equal, the same approach to how these are treated in different zoning districts. And so the change, and I don't know if you can see this, but essentially we're just creating this new use, principal use, and we're saying City of Memphis. The current detention center, jail, prison would say unincorporated county, and then we would align where all social service institutions are allowed by special use permit. This new use would be aligned with that. So you see here, so that is the change that is proposed, and again, we believe that it solves the current issue that we have, and so DPD is recommending approval of this. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Ragsdale? Okay, go ahead.
Motion to approve item number 14, ZTA 2025. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Just want to make sure I understand. So the intent is that right now, private social services could be in many of those districts, but the public version can't, and so.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Any further questions of Mr. Ragsdale at this time? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close the public portion of the meeting. We're ready for the...
I apologize, Mr. Winter. Item number 14, ZTA 2025-001, zoning text amendment to the Unified Development Code related to correctional facilities.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion amongst our board members? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I assume we're ready to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do we have any further announcements?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Hearing none, we will dismiss.
Nice job, Mary.
Nice job.
I still screw up.
I'm too home.